What do you think are those few things, or is there anything that is missing in, especially in Nigeria,
Yeah.
in the tech space in Nigeria? Do you think there is anything that is missing?
Top of my list is infrastructure. We do not have as much investment in infrastructure. I mean, it's the widest gap as far as I'm concerned between us and the West. Let's start with even the internet itself. Some few years ago, we had an outage that affected internet connectivity, affected telephonic connectivity all through the nation. And the reason was because undersea cables,
Yeah,
were affected
yeah.
and all that. We don't own infrastructure. For example, how much of um, the machine learning models that are popular right now are being built in this country, are being trained in this country? Now, of course, we are at that point where what is done mostly now is just transfer learning, where you pick, a pre-trained model and then you try to adapt it to whatever it is you want to do. But where's the infrastructure that makes something like that possible? Look at how long it took us to get here in terms of even hosting infrastructure.
Mm, mm.
Every guy that is doing great, every application, including our unicorns, are either running on GCP, Google Cloud Platform, or AWS, Amazon Web Services, or Microsoft Azure.
How much of a danger do you think this puts us in terms of we not owning
Yeah.
our own infrastructure?
So yeah, the answer that anybody wants to give to me, especially for the last example that I give, is, oh, it's costly and all that. Yes, it's costly in the short run, but in the long run, it makes us just, the biggest cost is the fact that we are bound to whatever terms that they dictate. Do you know that there is a large amount of startups that go bankrupt in Nigeria simply because of what their server cost is?
Mm,
Because something happens, imagine what it costs to host a platform 10 years ago when the conversion rate of dollar to naira was whatever it is
yeah,
and what it
pretty
costs
low
right now.
compared to now.
Guys just find out that a whole year worth of runway is just wiped out by just the movement of the naira to dollar in a sector that is completely has nothing completely to do with whatever products that they are offering. Something just happened to the financial balance sheet of countries and your entire runway is wiped out. That's the cost that we pay for stuff like that. Yes, if you guys are rising up in Nigeria that are saying, oh, they are trying to build infrastructure like that in Nigeria, you can pay in naira and all of that. And I see if you guys supporting them. If I had a platform to push today, I would want to use some of those platforms. But of course, you then come to the fact that comparing those platforms that are just building out with, do you know how many services AWS gives you access to? Sometimes it can even be very, very confusing. But then that's my point. They have built it over time. We don't have it. We oftentimes don't own the infrastructure that is beneath the surface of what we do. We only innovate at the top of the iceberg. If you go back way down, it's someone else that owns us.
So it means that if someday they wake up and just decide, you know what, we want to cut off, or we don't want to serve you no longer.
That's all. It's just as terrible, or it's just as simple as AWS waking up tomorrow and saying we are saying no. Do you know what kind of crisis would happen if AWS wakes up tomorrow and says, for one reason or the other, they're closing shop to all Nigerian companies? The economy in Nigeria will tumble, and I mean that like accurate. Like it would be like a siege, like a war. You will just find out that a lot of the things that have become part of your life just stop working.
How long do you think it will take us to get there? Because if we are to put it into proper context,
Mhm,
the largest black country
mhm.
in the world
Yeah.
is in serious, serious danger. Sorry to say, or maybe I'm not sorry to say, in the face of war, we are gone.
I think that, like you have also rightly said, maybe something as drastic as war may bring us there faster. But the only thing that we're riding on right now is also the greed of these platforms in terms of they need to make money. And
So they
in
need
fact,
us.
exactly. And you see a lot of them sponsoring a lot of initiatives in Africa, in Nigeria. You see them telling you things like they have platforms, or sorry, they have offerings, that they give to ideas. Say things like uh, you can partner with them for startups. They give you some credits free, and all of those things. As good as they sound, yes, it's good for the guy who's trying to build something, but there's also, we know why is
There's an
lock
agenda
is it is locking you into
behind
their
it.
platform, because for some of those stuff, once they begin to get your data, at a point, if you try to get your data out, the money you probably have to pay sometimes just to get your data out of
Of the
their
system.
is killing. So yeah, there's that sense in which we can depend on the mutual greed, that is on both ends, to say, oh, except of course, if drastic times like wars and all of that arises, we may not, you know we may have something to fear in terms of what it will cost us, but complete cut off, no. But in terms of getting there, or maybe I want to speak to, getting to the point where we can avoid it. Maybe we can't even completely avoid it, right? Because of, the interplay that exists between, the advancement of technology on their end and has still going. But the Nigeria, especially speaking for Nigeria, we need to start leveraging on how to build, infrastructure for our stuff. There are guys who are stepping up, but it's something that we all need to come together. Private sector investing more in, talent to build out stuff like that, partnering with them, and also the government itself enacting policies, proving the support for stuff like that to be buildable in Nigeria. That's what helps us avoid it. Else, we'll just keep paying that cost of nonchalance.
Technically speaking,
Mhm.
technically no,
Yeah.
maybe not financially speaking, but technically speaking, do you think we have the technical capacity to build infrastructure that developed countries can depend on in the same way they have built infrastructure that we are dependent on?
Why not?
You think we have grown to that point?
I think we may never know unless we challenge ourselves too. But I think that we have enough potentials to make that possible. We've just not stretched ourselves enough.